Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video, it is going to be a video on my favorite warframe, and that is Wisp Prime. So this video is going to be a level cap build for Wisp. So without further ado guys, let's get right on into today's video. So first of all guys, I have got 5 Crimson Talforge Archon Shards on Wisp, all for ability strength, which means my base ability strength is 175. Now, you do not need any shards for this build, and I'm going to say that again, you do not need any shards for this build. However, having strength shards on Wisp will help out, and it is optional, but that is basically the only thing with the shards. Now you are going to need the Hemlin system for this one, and the warframe you're going to want to subsume is going to be Zaku. So Zaku is the warframe you're going to need, and we are going to be subsuming Zaku for that Zata's Whisper, overriding our 4th ability on Wisp. So people, for the config on Wisp, you are going to want to run something along these sort of lines. Now for the aura mod, we are going to kick this off with Brief Respite, which is generally just good for shield gating. Now Wisp is not a frame that needs the shield gate per se, so let me get on into that a little bit more. Now first of all, like I said, I did have Zata's Whisper, but I've replaced it with Raw because it is a little bit better for the dual Toxicist, which is primarily the weapon I use with this, but I still recommend Raw, Eclipse, Zata's Whisper. They are all completely interchangeable. Now for the first mod, we are going to add on some extra duration, so Prime Continuity for some extra duration. Now that is obviously going to increase the duration on the Raw and the Will-O-Wisp, which is just generally going to be good. The time invulnerable will always stay as 3, so that is a mechanic I'm going to show you a little bit later. Now for the next set of mods, we are going to go with Triple Umbrals. Now this is obviously for power strength and just for general survivability, and it's just a good option to run on Wisp, which I strongly do recommend. Now we are going to be adding nothing but strength on this config, so we're going to throw Augur Secrets on. We are also going to throw on, where is it? Blind Rage and Energy Conversion. Now Energy Conversion, once you get an Energy Orb, 50% more strength in your next cast, which is just useful to have, and obviously more power strength means better morts for Wisp. And just in general, you are going to be using the Haste Mort to kickstart your guns, Health Mort just for a little bit of extra survivability, and the Shock Mort, just one of the best ways to survive in later game. Now for the last mod, this is very much interchangeable between 2 options. Option 1 is going to be Equilibrium for basically unlimited energy, and option 2 is going to be Archon Stretch because of that Shock Mort. It will be on all of the players at all times. Ideally, you are basically just going to keep getting energy back from that as well, but I do recommend Equilibrium a little bit more just because it does not rely on other players using your Shock Mort, and just in general you kicking, which is ideally what is going to be going. Now for the last aura slot, I recommend one of 2 things. Either Fuse Reservoir if you're going to cast all 3 of the morts at the same time, or the other option would be a drift mod known, if I can spell, a drift mod known as Cunning Drift for a little bit of extra range on your config. Now completely optional, I do prefer running the Fused Reservoir because of all of the morts. The Health Mort doesn't help out generally towards level cap much, but it does give you another second, I think, in terms of realizing, yep, I'm going to die, time to cast my 2. Now for the Arcanes, this is what I would recommend. I recommend Malt Vigor just for straight up extra ability strength on a cast. You could replace this with Malt Augmented as well, which is just going to give you 60% strength instead of 45, and this will passively be on, so I do recommend Malt Augmented as well. Completely interchangeable. Now just for this sake, I'm going to throw on Augmented, but for the next Arcane, if you do not run the Equilibrium, if you run Archon Stretch, I would advise running Arcane Energize on here. So Energize, you know, big boy Arcane is all of that. However, I'm running Equilibrium, and I'm also running Raw for more damage on my weapons. So what I'm going to replace this with is going to be Arcane Velocity, because I primarily use my dual Toxicist. Or alternatively, if you primarily use your primary weapon, I would recommend Arcane Rage for extra damage on that. Now that is the config for Wisp, so let me go into Simulacrum and show you how we use the second ability effectively. Okay, so people, we are now in Simulacrum, but I'm just basically going to be showcasing Wisp's second ability, because that is basically the only important thing that you need to save your life whilst playing Cascade or just anything with Wisp. So with her second ability, if you were to hold it, it will just send the Wisp Spectre going flying, and you can basically let go to teleport all the way over to wherever it is. However, you do get invulnerability, as you can see in the corner, but the golden thing about this is the fact that if you were to spam it, as you guys can see now, or just press it once every 2 or 3 seconds, we're basically invulnerable. So right now, we're just, using it every 2 or 3 seconds, and as Wisp, you will never die. Now, with Equilibrium replacing the Arcane Stretch because of technicality, and I'm stupid for recording with Stretch when I meant Equilibrium, you can see, you're not going to run out of energy, and you're not going to run out of health because you'll basically be invulnerable all the time. So now people, we are at level cap with Wisp. So as you guys can see, I am using Madrai Void Sling for extra power strength, and I'm also using the Soma. Don't worry about it, video coming out on Soma soon people, I promise. But with Wisp, as you guys can see here, the general style is make sure your Zata's Wisp is active. As you can see in the corner, I'm getting a good kick from that. Also, Arcane Stretch from all my teammates with the Mort is just going to give me energy constantly, but I do still think Equilibrium is better now. But as you guys can see here, just generally, the best way to save yourself is just use that too. Apart from that, the Wisp is basically a run and gun frame, which is what I like because it's very hands-on, very aggressive playstyle, which is just my personal preference. Now, you can put your Morts down whenever you want. I do think that the health Mort is okay using it all the way up towards level cap, using it with the Fused Reservoir. But if you were to replace it and just use the shock mode and the haste mode only, that would be okay as well. It's just that the health mode basically gives you a little bit of extra time to realize that you're in a little bit of a sticky situation, and time to use a mode, time to use your second. But as you guys can see, this is just generally the style of playing Wisp. I've just been doing nothing but gunning with the Soma. Config is coming on that, like I said, but that is basically Wisp's playstyle. Also, one thing I do definitely recommend is using your third ability, Breach Surge, onto your Mort for extra range. What this will do is basically give you a significant kick in terms of CCing, so you will stun enemies, and on headshot you'll basically be able to do even more damage to them, which is definitely what you want. It just makes Wisp shred everything regardless of what level the enemies are, and it's definitely a tip I do advise. But just generally, as you can see here, okay, that was a stupid down from me, but this is just the general style of playing Wisp, and I cannot recommend it enough. As someone who is a Wisp main, I'm not joking, this has to be my favorite playstyle and my favorite frame, so it is definitely a personal preference, but I do love playing Wisp for this reason. So guys, that has basically been this video on Wisp, and I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button and consider subscribing if you're new. Other than that, I have got links in my description to my Discord server, so if you want to check that out, please feel free to do so. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed. Please do smash that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!